Lovelace, and I got a couple reports on some of the Wikileaks that I've found. So I've dug through a few of them, and there's a ton of information in there. So I'm gonna report a few of them. Then I'm gonna dig a little more because I didn't dig into that many, but I did find some good information. I'm gonna be looking down because I gotta read the reports, but I'll try to edit it and put it up on screen so you can read it too, instead of just looking at me read it. Okay, and this one was from Friday, November 5th in 2010. This is in one of the Clinton emails. This isn't one of the new Podesta emails. And the subject is for the State Department, problems mount. It says, "Hi Jake. Yeah, this is typed a little weird because there's no space in between the words, but it'll be okay." It says, "Hi Jake, this does not have a direct foreign policy bearing, but I think it'd be interested. I think S would be interested because it is an enormous and growing problem. These stats come from a New York top ed piece. Over 20% of California's debt issuance during 2009 and over 30% of its debt issuance in 2010 to date has been subsidized by the federal government in a program known as Build America's Bonds. Under the program, the U.S. Treasury covers 35% of the interest paid by the bonds. Arguably, without this program, the interest cost of bonds for some states would have reached prohibitive levels. California is not alone. Over 30% of Illinois' debt and over 40% of Nevada's debt issued since 2009 has also been subsidized with these bonds. These states might have already reached some type of tipping point, and the federal program has not been in place. Today, more than 28% of state funding comes from the federal government transfers, the highest contribution in record. These transfers have made states dependent on federal assistance. New York, for example, spent in excess of 250% of its tax receipts over the last decade. The largest 15 states by GDP spent on average over 220% of their tax receipts. Clearly, states have been spending at unsustainable levels without facing immediate consequences due to federal transfer payments and other temporary factors." And it ends with Bob. So it seems like, yeah, the states are spending too much money, but also think part of it is that some of the governors are just cutting too much taxes for all the big corporations and some of the wealthy people. They're saying, I'm with the establishment, you're the established, so I'm going to cut your taxes. So then they just keep cutting their taxes, and then all of a sudden they don't have any money to cover their spending. And I mean, they're going to have to pay out a little bit more money over the next few years so they could, start putting people to work. So that's one way that they could spend a little more money in a responsible way, or just to help the people, is to just create jobs. So it's just in the wording from the conservative perspective that Jake says a lot about how, oh man, the spending's so much, you gotta cut spending. And it could just be that they need to tax the corporations and the wealthy people a lot more. So that was some good information right there. So also found another email. This is from the Podesta emails. This was about the black woman in Minnesota that Hillary Clinton, she didn't really, she's being a little too hostile towards her. This is just one section of a really long email, so I don't even know if I'd be able to get back to this email to see what else is in this one, but just some of the emails are just so long that it just takes a while to get to, a section that you like, and so it's just a bunch of information. But this one says, her final reaction before leaving was with a Somali American girl, probably 26 or 27, who said that Somali American youth are being marginalized and experiencing prejudice. Given her comments about the African American community, how do we know she'd be any different now? Just weird because she's 26 or 27, but they're calling her a girl. It's not really all that good. She mentioned super predators specifically. HRC said that she used the word one time and to look at her record. The young woman said that she knew what a record was and that it was supportive of the African American community, which is why so many have supported her campaign. She mentioned the Somali American councilman that she met with members of the community last time she's in Minneapolis. The girl responded by saying something to the effect of a councilman doesn't count, which is true because the Somali American woman and other black people need Hillary Clinton to talk to, just regular black people in a town or a city, not just the councilman. And then HRC told her that if she believes that, then maybe she should run up for office. At this point, the governor intervened and the conversation ended. So you couldn't tell by the video, because I'm sure a lot of you have seen that video, about the governor intervening, but it just looked like they both ended it. But that's just interesting that she's a young woman, but they want to call her a girl. And that I also don't like that Hillary keeps talking about, well, look at my record for what I've done for the black community. When she was a senator in 2001 and 2009, so it'd be a lot better if she actually, pushed for some policy that helped black people, and actually talked about specifically, said, hey, in 2001 or 02 or whichever year I was in the Senate, I've worked for this bill and it would have helped the black community or something like that. Or I tried to push for this bill and it didn't pass when I was a senator, and the Republicans chopped it down. Or when I was Secretary of State, when I was trying to do something for the people of this country or that country, this is what I did to help people out, black people or poor people, anything like that. But she just keeps talking about, just look at my record. So I don't like that she just says look at my record, because maybe she just really hasn't pushed that much policy for black people or for women, because she just keeps saying look at her record and not I've passed this bill or I've worked on pushing this bill that got killed by Republicans. So I'm just not a fan about that. Thought I had one more. I don't know if I have one more. Oh well, I'll just need to cut it and just make another video for the next one.